Quote, ultimately, this incident underscores the need to move ahead quickly with negotiations that can lead to a comprehensive peace in the region. The only viable solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is an agreement negotiated between the parties that ends the occupation that began in 1967 and fulfills the aspirations of both parties for independent homelands through two states for two peoples, Israel and an independent, contiguous, and viable state of Palestine living side by side in peace and security. Let me interject here a question. When the word contiguous crops up in this context, I assume it means that the various parts of the Palestinian state should touch each other. Now, since the West Bank and Gaza do not touch each other, I just don't know what is meant by including the word contiguous in this formulation. Continuing the quote from Alejandro Wolff, we call again on our international partners, both inside and outside this council, to promote an atmosphere of cooperation between the parties and throughout the entire region. Unquote. Now, there has been very little published legal analysis of what happened on May 31st. That would involve looking at the customary international law on blockades and at the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which we, the United States, have never ratified. Several provisions of the convention may apply. Article 87 deals with freedom of the high seas. Article 110 with the right to visit ships at sea. And Article 226 with investigation of foreign vessels. This is a very long and complicated convention. Whether or not the parties involved, and in this case adhere to the convention, it should be examined as reflecting the views of the many countries that do adhere to it. Going further back into the history of international maritime law, we can look at Volume 10 of Whiteman's Digest of International Law, which is Department of State publication 8637, released in 1968. At page 869, we read that U.S. Ambassador Warren Austin told the Security Council on May 22, 1948, that, quote, it is elementary that a proclamation of a blockade constitutes a claim of belligerent rights. The exercise of belligerent rights depends upon the existence of war, whether it be international war or civil war. The claim to exercise belligerent rights must rest upon recognition of the belligerency of the opposing party, unquote. Well, the opposing party in this case would be Gaza or its government or I don't know what else. Is Israel technically at war with Gaza? Gaza is not a recognized state, but an unusual species of entity. It is governed by Hamas, which Israel would like to see removed. Some refer to Hamas as having seized power in Gaza, but the New York Times on June 5th concluded an article at page A7 with this, quote, Ms. Berlin of Free Gaza said, quote, Hamas was democratically elected whether we like it or not. Continuing the quote, not from her but from the Times, referring to the Palestinian legislative elections of 2006, in which Hamas defeated its main rival, Fatah, which is in charge in the West Bank, Palestinian Authority.